Most people think they need more time. They say the day is too short, life is too busy, responsibilities are too heavy. But time is the only thing given equally to everyone. 24 hours to the successful, 24 to the struggling. The difference is not in the clock, it is in the choices made while the clock keeps moving. Time does not slow down when you feel lost. It does not pause when you feel unmotivated. Every delay, every "I'll start tomorrow," is a silent decision to stay the same. While you hesitate, someone else is practicing, learning, building. Time keeps rewarding action and punishing delay, without emotion, without apology. People love motivation because it feels good. A video, a quote, a speech can make you feel powerful for a moment. But motivation is like sugar, quick energy, fast crash. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. It moves when your mood says stop. It works when nobody is watching, when results are invisible, when progress feels slow. The truth is harsh, your dreams don't need your feelings, they need your consistency. The person who wins is not the most inspired, but the most committed to showing up on days that feel ordinary and heavy. Comfort feels safe, but it quietly steals potential. Sleeping in, scrolling endlessly, choosing easy over necessary, these don't look dangerous. They feel harmless, even deserved. But comfort builds a cage that feels like freedom. Growth demands friction. Muscles grow by resistance, minds grow by challenge, character grows by pressure. If your days feel too easy, if nothing pushes you, nothing stretches you, you are not growing, you are settling. Many say they are tired, but look closer. The body is not exhausted from effort, it is drained from distraction. Hours disappear into screens, comparisons, mindless entertainment. Focus is broken into tiny pieces. Deep work feels harder because the mind is trained for quick dopamine, not sustained effort. Real progress needs attention, and attention is now one of the rarest skills. The ability to sit, concentrate, and finish what you start is becoming a superpower. Success is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in repetition that feels boring. Waking up when the bed is warm. Studying when others relax. Practicing when no one claps. These small acts look meaningless alone, but stacked over months and years, they create massive separation. The world sees the result and calls it talent or luck. They don't see the quiet mornings, the lonely evenings, the days of doubt that were faced anyway. Your habits are not small things. They are daily votes for the person you are becoming. Skip the workout, delay the task, ignore the plan, you vote for weakness. Show up, finish, improve a little, you vote for strength. The future is not something waiting ahead. It is being built right now through repeated behavior. The hardest truth is this: nobody is coming to change your life. No perfect moment, no sudden rescue, no magical opportunity that fixes everything. Help may appear, support may come, but the decision to rise, to act, to improve, that part is yours alone. Responsibility feels heavy, but it is also power. The moment you stop blaming and start owning, control returns. The life you imagine. Stronger, calmer, successful, respected, lives behind discomfort. Behind early mornings, difficult conversations, disciplined routines, and the courage to keep going when progress feels slow. The door is not locked. It is just heavy, and most people stop pushing too soon. Time moves with or without permission, with or without readiness, with or without perfect conditions. Every sunrise delivers the same deposit, yet the return people get from it looks completely different. Hours slip away not in dramatic losses but in small, unnoticed trades, one more scroll, one more delay, one more excuse that sounds reasonable in the moment. The mind says there is still plenty left, that tomorrow will be better, that pressure is not here yet. But time does not respond to emotion or intention, it responds only to action taken within it. Each moment unused quietly closes a door that does not reopen in the same form. Opportunities are often time-sensitive, energy is seasonal, focus has rhythms. When these windows pass, effort must double just to reach the same place. Understanding this changes behavior. It shifts attention from waiting to using, from planning endlessly to starting imperfectly. Treating time as limited does not create stress, it creates clarity. It forces decisions about what truly matters and exposes what only pretends to matter. When time is respected, priorities sharpen, distractions lose power, and daily actions begin to align with long-term direction. The clock is not an enemy, not a friend, just a constant reminder that life is being spent whether wisely or carelessly. Motivation feels powerful, but it is emotionally driven, and emotions are unstable. Some days energy is high, belief is strong, and action feels natural. Other days doubt is loud, mood is low, and even small tasks feel heavy. If progress depends on feeling ready, progress becomes unpredictable. Discipline removes this uncertainty by creating standards that do not change with mood. It turns important actions into non-negotiable routines rather than emotional choices. This builds identity. Each time a person follows through despite resistance, the brain learns that action is possible without perfect feelings. Confidence then grows from evidence, not hype. Discipline also reduces mental noise. When decisions are pre-made, wake at a set time, work for a set period, practice regardless of mood, energy is saved for execution instead of internal debate. Over time this consistency compounds. Skills improve, self-trust deepens, and results begin to appear. Motivation may start the journey, but only disciplined behavior carries it through long stretches where excitement fades and effort alone keeps movement alive. Comfort often disguises itself as balance, self-care, or patience, but beneath that surface it quietly negotiates against growth. It encourages choosing what feels good now over what builds strength later. Easy routines create a false sense of safety, where days blend together without friction or challenge. The mind begins to associate peace with avoidance, and effort with unnecessary pain. Over time, comfort lowers tolerance for difficulty. Small obstacles start to feel overwhelming, and discipline feels extreme. This is how potential slowly shrinks, not through failure but through overprotection. Growth requires tension, the kind that forces adaptation. Without resistance, skills remain shallow, confidence stays fragile, and progress plateaus. Comfort does not destroy dreams loudly, it erodes them softly, through repeated decisions to stay where things feel familiar rather than stepping into uncertainty. The danger of comfort is not rest itself, but permanence. Rest is meant to recharge, not replace effort. When comfort becomes a lifestyle, ambition dulls. The mind begins to justify stagnation by comparing downward rather than upward. Others struggling become reference points, and improvement loses urgency. Yet every meaningful transformation in life carries discomfort at its core. Learning demands confusion, progress demands patience, strength demands strain. The willingness to stay present through difficulty separates those who evolve from those who repeat the same year in different calendars. Discomfort is not a sign of being lost, it is evidence of expansion. The more it is embraced intentionally, the less power it holds, and the more freedom it creates. Many claim exhaustion, but true fatigue usually follows deep effort, not shallow stimulation. What drains most people today is constant distraction. Attention is fragmented across notifications, content, comparisons, and noise that never fully satisfies. The brain jumps from one stimulus to another, never settling long enough to enter meaningful focus. This creates mental tiredness without real progress. Tasks feel heavier not because they are difficult, but because concentration muscles are weak from lack of use. Focus has become uncomfortable, so avoidance feels natural. Reclaiming energy begins with reclaiming attention. When distractions are reduced, clarity returns. The mind remembers how to work deeply, and effort begins to feel purposeful rather than draining. Distraction also creates the illusion of productivity. Being busy replaces being effective. Movement replaces direction. Hours pass filled with activity, yet nothing significant moves forward. This leads to frustration and self-doubt, reinforcing the belief of being tired or unmotivated. In reality, energy is being leaked, not spent. Focused effort, even for short periods, produces momentum that scattered effort never can. Learning to sit with one task, one goal, one moment rebuilds mental stamina. Over time, the ability to concentrate becomes a source of confidence. Progress accelerates, not because life becomes easier, but because attention is finally aligned with intention. Success is rarely born in moments of spectacle or sudden triumph. It is cultivated quietly, in the routines that go unnoticed and the choices that feel mundane. Waking up early when the body begs for rest, dedicating hours to practice without applause, and committing to repetitive effort that feels ordinary all compound into extraordinary outcomes over time. These moments are invisible to others but essential to the formation of skill, resilience, and confidence. Each small action, when performed consistently, strengthens the foundation upon which larger achievements are built. The world often celebrates results without seeing the groundwork, giving the illusion of overnight success. In reality, these outcomes are the cumulative effect of countless decisions to persist when there was nothing external pushing forward. Understanding this reshapes perspective. It shifts focus from chasing attention to mastering the basics, from seeking validation to seeking improvement, and from relying on external circumstances to controlling what is within reach. Every effort, no matter how minor it appears, carries weight when stacked across days, weeks, and years, and those who recognize this principle begin to see the invisible architecture of progress. Habits function as the building blocks of future identity. Each repeated action, whether intentional or negligent, casts a vote for the person being shaped over time. Waking up at a consistent hour, reading instead of scrolling, completing small tasks before seeking reward, all reinforce patterns that define capability and discipline. Conversely, neglecting routines or surrendering to instant gratification gradually erodes potential. The future is not abstract, it is the aggregate of today's choices encoded into routine. Habits are not about immediate outcomes, they are about the long-term trajectory that forms quietly in the background of daily life. Mastery of small, consistent behaviors multiplies into leverage that influences every area of life. Strength is developed through repetition, focus through daily effort, and character through persistence. Awareness of these patterns allows intentional shaping of behavior, rather than drifting into circumstance. Over time, the alignment of actions and values creates a momentum that feels almost unstoppable. Even when challenges arise, well-established habits provide stability and direction, making adaptation easier and resilience stronger. This understanding reframes the perception of effort. Success does not require extraordinary genius or luck, it requires the disciplined repetition of actions that may seem insignificant in isolation. Each small, deliberate choice becomes a seed that grows into the life one desires, and the discipline to act consistently transforms potential into tangible reality, making achievement less about chance and more about design. The hardest truth is that no one is coming to change the course of life for anyone. Waiting for a perfect opportunity, a mentor, or external support often becomes a way to delay responsibility. Life does not pause to offer guidance or protection. It continues relentlessly, indifferent to readiness or comfort. Dependence on external forces creates vulnerability and stagnation because control over results is given away. Empowerment emerges only when action is taken independently, when responsibility is embraced fully. Each decision made proactively becomes a declaration of ownership over the future. The moment a person stops seeking permission or waiting for rescue, the real work begins. Taking responsibility is not a burden. It is the recognition that influence exists within individual choices. This shift transforms mindset. Challenges become tests of capability, setbacks become lessons, and effort becomes the most reliable tool for progress. Understanding this truth dissolves excuses, clarifies priorities, and ignites a drive that is internally sourced rather than externally triggered. When no one else is coming, every action, every decision, every small improvement matters exponentially more. The life that is imagined, dreamed about, or longed for is always on the other side of discomfort. Comfort, fear, and hesitation form invisible barriers that delay entry into higher potential. Growth is not gentle, it demands engagement with uncertainty, endurance through difficulty, and willingness to push past the familiar. Each challenge that is faced, each fear that is acted upon, gradually reshapes perception and expands capability. Discomfort is not punishment. It is feedback signaling that growth is occurring. The early mornings, the disciplined routines, the conversations that feel awkward, the extra effort when energy is low, these are the gateways to transformation. Progress rarely comes from ease. The ability to tolerate, even seek, the tension of challenge is what separates those who achieve from those who only wish. Over time, repeated encounters with discomfort strengthen resilience, sharpen focus, and clarify purpose. The mind and body learn to associate difficulty with advancement rather than with pain or failure. Opportunities that once seemed daunting begin to feel achievable. Life on the other side of discomfort is not about perfection, it is about consistent engagement with what stretches capacity. This willingness to endure, to keep showing up, and to persist when progress is invisible becomes the defining factor in achievement. The distance between current reality and desired life is measured less by resources or talent and more by courage, persistence, and the deliberate choice to act even when the path is uncomfortable.